Welcome everyone, it's GameCamilla here, back at you with another video, once again joined by my friend CosmicCubicle as we continue our Among Us series, the second of 3 videos, this time breaking down Mira HQ, the second of the 3 Among Us maps. Now if you haven't checked out our first video on the Skeld, please do. There's a link going to be in the upper right hand corner there, as well as in the description box down below. Check that out. It's a full breakdown. Just like before, this video is going to be separated into chapters, so you can easily go back and forth between the sections of the video. First of all, Cosmic's going to break down Freeplay mode for you. A lot of people don't understand what that mode entails or how to use that. It's a great way to practice the map and check it out on your own time. We're also going to do a complete tour, complete task breakdown, as well as venting breakdown, as well as some bonus tips and tricks at the end, especially for imposters of this map. A lot of people have a lot of difficulty with this map. A lot of people think it's bigger than it actually is. There's a few checkpoints in this map that you have to be aware of. But trust me, once you get it down packed, this map isn't too hard. Without further ado, I'm going to let Cosmic take it over from here. Again, big props to him for taking the time to record the videos and taking the time to share his knowledge of the game. He is a master Among Us player, so you are going to learn a lot today from him.
Alright folks, welcome to another Among Us video, and today we're going to talk about Freeplay mode. Freeplay mode is a great feature inside Among Us where we can actually test out all those different maps that we have and the tasks that we have on the map. To get to it, we just come into the app on PC here. I just click on Freeplay. I'm not sure how it works on mobile. It's just going to ask me what map to go to. I've been working on videos for Mira HQ today, so I'm going to click on that, and I'm brought into the meeting location. It's not necessarily where you start on a map, but it's where you meet. And all you have to do to play around with it is just hit the customize button right next to the computer, and I'm going to be able to turn on any number of tasks here, on or off, and it'll let me play around with using those. I can also use beimpostor.exe to turn myself into imposter mode so I can use vents and things. And that'll allow you to play around and use different tasks, as well as make yourself familiar with the maps in case you haven't played them before. Alright folks, welcome to the map tour for Mira HQ. This will be the first segment, and then we'll be talking about the tasks and then some imposter things after this. So we start out here in our launch pad. You can see there's a vent over here that the imposters may use at any given point. We've got several tasks around here that will be in depth in the next section. As we head south of the launch pad, we get into this long hallway. Now be very careful to not leave too many stragglers behind. If a large group of you leave the launch pad and only 1 or 2 people go behind, it's always a good idea to double back and check to see that those people are still there and they haven't either been offed or vented out of there. Once we go across this long hallway, we come to a hallway that goes north. Off to the right, we have our med bay where we've got our scans and, again, another vent. Up a little bit further, we get into communications. We get a single task of diverting power in here. And then we get one of the new unique features of this map, which is the door log, actually. And if I activate the door log, you'll get what appears to be kind of a jumble of information here. But there are 3 sensors that you're going to see, and they're going to correspond to over here. Like if I walk here, up and down, you'll see that I just got past the southwest sensor right there. So it's the tips of the Y intersection are going to be each of the sensors. So this is a way that you can potentially tell if somebody's venting back and forth, if you know what to look for. It's a bit trickier of a technique for locating our imposters, but it is a tool that we can use at our disposal. And if once I get some more gameplay footage, you may see me use this a bit more, but not too often because it does devote a lot of time to reading the sensors. And the sensors aren't 100% way to suss someone out, but they can answer a few questions. Going across the hall, we come into the locker room. There really isn't much here other than a single vent and a wiring location. And then this door. And this door takes us into what's called decontamination. Coming into decontamination, we have these triggers that you can trigger, as well as a vent down here. Once the steam goes through and we get to the other side, it will let us out into either the lab or reactor area, depending on where we go. The reactor's off to the left. And then off to the right, we have our laboratory. This is a fairly common spot to find bodies, is in here where it's kind of tucked away. So whenever you're within the area, I always make sure to kind of peek in at the laboratory, check for any bodies before leaving. As you can see, there is a vent over here to the right, so it is possible to make a quick escape. Gonna open it up, come back down through decontamination. You see the steam coming across, making sure I've got a nice clean spacesuit, because I really needed to clean off that spacesuit. Come up here past the wiring panel into the Y intersection. Now we'll be going north of the Y. Off to the left here, we get into the office area. It's where we have our electrical panel, as well as a couple random tasks that we'll talk about in other sections of the video. Over to the right, we've got admin. We've got our admin table here that we're used to from our Skeld map, and that's going to allow us to get a map of where there's different people. Keep in mind, it's not going to show you who they are, it's just going to show you where they are at the given time. And that can be used to potentially see if somebody might have died, if somebody's venting, if you start seeing hops between them. So just keep that in mind as a watchful eye. And then up north, we have our greenhouse. Now, keep a watch out here. The vent for the greenhouse is actually right back here, so it can be a little hard to detect. So just be aware of that when you're taking a look. Now, heading back south, and then taking the right path off of that, brings us into the cafeteria, one of our other vents right there. This is our meeting room where we wind up after everybody, every meeting, every death, etc. We've got one room to the south. That's our balcony, where we've got two small tasks, but they're very visible area here, so probably not likely to see many bodies down there. And then storage is quite isolated in here, so you may want to keep an eye out for bodies in there as well. And that concludes our tour of the general map of Mira HQ. Alright, welcome everybody to the newest video for doing tasks. And today, we're actually going to be looking at Mira HQ. So I'm here in Freeplay mode, I'm going to load some tasks. And we're actually going to start over at the launchpad today with our 3 launchpad tasks. And I'm going to get rid of virtually everything else. The only thing I'm going to leave on there is storage. I'll leave water plants in there. We're going to take off reactor. Take off office. And cafeteria. So this is everything for the launchpad. So this is where you start after a meeting. It's got our nice little button here. You see Cosmics walking around in this nice setup. And we're going to go up, over, kind of awkwardly walk around. And we come down. And we got to go all the way into reactor to divert our power. So I'm going to come over to this little icon, this little doohickey here that looks quite phallic in nature. Hit my E key, walk in all the way, it'll start steaming, and that brings us up into the reactor, which I'm still having trouble navigating with. This little panel right here is our divert power. It's very similar to the one we saw in Skeld. I'm just going to take this bar, run it up. In this case, it will be for our fuel engines, or for our launch pad, sorry. Going to come down, all the way down, all the way around. And this is where we actually start the game, is over here on the launch pad. which again, because it's a start of a game location, we want to make sure not to group up on these too heavily right away, or we're going to have a stacking situation for a stack kill. So, to do the launchpad diagnostics, I just hit the spacebar button right there, and it counts down. I'm going to hit escape, let that run its course for a minute. Come over here. This is where we accept diverted power. It's a very simple task to accept that power, just like we did in Skeld. I'm just going to click the button. Lines run over, lickety split. Then the last task is fueling the engines. Gonna press and hold this button, get the gas can full. That's all I had to do. No having to run around with it like we did before. We've got our diagnostics ran. We're gonna walk back up to the panel, hit E. We can see that it's asking us to pick the anomaly. In this case, we just need to pick the one that's highlighted red, different than the others. I believe the colors are set up. In case of color blindness, it should be very easy to distinguish either way. We just click on the one that's different and we're good to go. And that, my friends, concludes the launch pad. Alright, so here we are, folks. We're back right outside the reactor because we've got another divert power. This time, we're sending it over to medbay. Just slide that slider up. Come on out. Open up the decom door. We're going to head down into the death trap of Mira. You can see there's a nice vent in there. Very, very deadly potential. Coming out and down. And we have 2 tasks only in our medbay. First one, of course, accepting our diverted power. Second one, scanning ourselves. One of the only tasks that you can tell somebody is a real person when visual tasks are off, because you will have to wait for somebody else in order to scan. And that's it. That is the medbay tasks. Alright, we are here in Reactor. We've got 2 main tasks that we're going to be looking at, aside from the plethora of diverting powers that we've already discussed. So, first up, we are going to play Simon Says. And that's literally all I'm going to do to start the reactor. I look at it as like the keypad, so in this case it's 681 is my code. 681 6819 6819 6819 forward 68194. Some people find that one of the most frustrating tasks. I find it fairly easy, it just takes a little bit of time to do. And our last task here is the manifolds, which is simply clicking the numbers in order. If I happen to click out of order, it goes red, and I have to start all over again. So make sure we get them in the right order. Take enough time that we finish those out. We'll come over here, and we'll divert power again. Oh, and we'll open it up, and there's our power to comms, being our only thing that we're actually going to do in comms is come on down, get decommed in a steam bath. So I always need a good steam bath in the middle of the day, especially while I'm wearing my spacesuit. Come over to this panel, and bloop, do that right there. And that is the comms and reactor. Alright, and now we're back over into the hallway. The hallway area, or the Y-wing as it's called generally, has this little intersection in it. There's only one task in the hallway, and that's to fix the wiring here. And as you can see, they've actually instituted colorblind mode onto the wiring. So in addition to the colors of the wires, you actually have symbols on them in case that makes it easier to match up for somebody. So we just drag them over to the corresponding colors, and when they're done, they will click. If you drag them to incorrect colors, it's just going to sit there until you pull them back and fix it. And that is all we can do in the hallway. And speaking of wiring panels, the one and only thing we can actually do inside the locker room is this wiring panel right here that I'm completing. Let's see right here. That's where it is. And then we've got one other wiring panel we'll look at. So we looked at the one up by the laboratory. We saw the one here at the locker room. And I believe if we take a look around, You'll notice there aren't as many wiring panels here as there are in say the scaled map, because there's only a very specific number of wiring panels. The last one is actually over in the greenhouse that we'll walk over to now. So we get to the greenhouse, we just follow all the way up to the top. We'll stop over at the cafeteria here, take a look. You notice there are no wiring panels in here. So there's only actually 4 of them, I think, if I count right. So greenhouse, laboratory, locker room. Yep, only 3 of them. It's a very low number. Luckily, we don't have to deal with that. And here we are in the laboratory. So we've got a couple of things going on. Right outside the laboratory, we do have a wiring panel that we can fix. And you'll see the wiring panels are across the different rooms within Mira HQ, and we'll see where some of them are throughout here. But here's one outside the laboratory. Inside the laboratory, we have, of course, our power diverted panel here, where we can accept the power. So if I come over here to reactor, you'll see I can send it over to the lab. And I'm not going to do this for all of them because it gets really tedious. But here's the laboratory diverted power panel. Come over here, and we are going to assemble the artifact. It's simply a puzzle that you have to put together. Just have to know. And these pieces will be in a random order, so you can't just look at how I do it. But you make a crystal, your task is complete. Congratulations. The final thing we're going to do here is sort the samples. So we just need to sort them into animal, mineral, or vegetable. So we have vegetable, vegetable, animal, mineral, mineral, and I think this is mineral actually. Nope. That's animal for some reason. Maybe it's because it's a dog bone. Who knows? But that's all we have to do in the laboratory. Alright, coming back in to take a look at the greenhouse. So we're going north of the Y-wing here. And we've got really 3 rooms here that we're going to deal with. So, first and foremost, the room we're going to talk about here is the greenhouse. It's got a couple of different tasks. First off, we're cleaning the O2 filter like we did in Skeld. Just drag the leaves over. Definitely one of the tasks that's more akin to a touchpad versus doing it with the mouse. Alright, we were able to clean that out. You can see that there is a divert power panel over here. I'm not going to do it because I didn't set that up. And then lastly, I need to actually water the plants. Well, in order to do that, I actually have to come all the way down to storage first. And that's the one task that we have in storage, is to get the watering can, other than this lighting panel here. So there's a wiring panel down by storage as well. But I need this watering can. I click in here, I have to click on the watering can, then I have to walk down and around and all the way up back to the greenhouse in order to water the plants. And when I get over here, I'm going to come over to the plants, click, click. So E. I have to click on the plants themselves. Sorry. If you click on the buckets, it will close the panel on you as it did to me, so be very cautious of that. And that's how we do the greenhouse. Heading back down from the greenhouse, we've got 2 rooms that are left for us. First and foremost, we have admin. And secondly, we have the office. As we come to the office, there's only 2 real tasks here. We've got our divert power, because I've done it before, and process data. If I open up the process data, you can see we don't have a download here. We're just going to let it process the data. Just needs to sit there and watch the counter. It appears to be a nice Christmas scene with those nice lush trees. This is also where you will come to fix the lights later on. And we'll talk about that after a little bit. And with that concludes that. We'll take a look at admin in just a moment. Alright, so we're rounding out here into a couple of the final rooms. One of the more important rooms is the admin room. We've got several different things we can do in admin. First and foremost, of course, we do have our divert power panel. Nearly every room has this, so you've seen it before. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to chart a course. That's simply dragging the ship to each of the circles. You do it much faster than that, but that's all that there is to it. If I come down here, the next thing I can do is prime our shields. We want to turn all the shields white instead of red. You just click on them, and it completes the task. And finally, we're going to enter our code. In order to see our code, you're going to click down here. It's going to reveal a 5-digit number. And you'll notice if I enter the wrong code, it just says bad and makes me try again. So it's fairly easy to do. Just hit yes. Task completes okay. And that, my friends, is admin. We can also, from here, take a look at the admin table. And I can see where people are throughout the ship. Alright, our second to last room will be the balcony, just coming south of the meeting area. We come down to the balcony. Off to the right, we have our weather balloons, which is kind of a confusing task for some people. What you want to do is you want to hit the begin button here. Just wait for it to go through the ETA, and it completes. That's all there is to it. It looks a bit confusing at first. Second task that we're going to have over here is to clear the asteroids. And if you're a good gunner, and I get good footage here, you'll see I can actually do this without missing. Boom. You just click on each of the asteroids. Fingers are going to be faster on the touchpad with that one, but I think it's fine to have that as a little bit of an advantage for touchpad players. And that is all we have in the balcony. Alright, our final task set inside of our Mira HQ is going to be in cafeteria. First and foremost, we have over here lower left a wiring panel that we can do. That's one of the possible wiring locations. Next up here, we have empty the garbage. Pull and hold down. Just wait until it stops shaking before you let go. And then we have our vending machine. It's going to give us a crude drawing of the product. In this case, it's Dawn Dew, not to be confused with the Mountain Dew, which I drink copious amounts of, which will assumingly give me diabetes someday. We need to just press B1 in this case and hit OK. It's going to vend it, and if we did the right product, it'll complete the task. Otherwise, we'll have to go through it again in order to do that. And then the last panel is the diverted power here in the cafeteria. That's the last thing we have to do. Welcome to Impostoring Mira HQ. This is where we get to do all the fun stuff. So, first thing we're going to talk about with this map, with being the imposter, is the magical vents. Because the vents in this map are much more versatile than any other map in the game right now. Because if I jump into a map, I can get anywhere. Each vent connects to every other vent in sequence here. So I can get from the start right here, and watch this, I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds I get over to here to call a meeting if I wanted to. Now I wouldn't use that too often, but it does allow you to jump way across the map and come back and not have too much time have passed in order for you to get around. Now, the other thing to note here as the imposter, there are no cameras in this map. So you're generally able to kill with impunity in a lot of locations, but keep in mind there are locations you don't want to kill in. For example, killing somebody in this Y intersection will make them found rather quickly. Now, if we come down here, we can also see the comms area where we have the logs. This is something we want to watch out for, as it's potential that someone can use the logs to detect where we've gone. So keep in mind the sensors on the intersection here are quite annoying for that perspective. Now, here we've got a few things we can do to sabotage. Not a whole lot, but there are a couple. So first off, we can sabotage communications, which will take our logs offline. In order to fix that, somebody has to come down here into the comms area and enter the backup code. And then they also need to come up to the office and enter the code. But you have to do them at the same time, so it's actually kind of annoying to do that one. Let's see if I can undo it. I cannot undo it. But the other ones you can do are fairly similar to, we've got the lighting in the office, and then we have O2 in our greenhouse, and our reactor going offline. It's the same as Skeld had for those. But the comms one is unique in the fact that you have to do it in 2 locations together. You need both of them to be active in order for it to work. So it's kind of like similar to Reactor in the fact that you need 2 people actively working on it. So that is a good one to split people off of. But aside from that, there's a couple other spots I want to talk about for good kills. First one being the decom chamber. If you can get alone with somebody in the decom chamber and nobody else sees you go in, you're in good business, and you can just vent out and then potentially be on the other side if necessary. But keep in mind the vent is down here on the south end, so you will want to watch out for that. Alright, and that concludes our imposter tips for the Mira HQ.
And there you go, guys. That's a lot of knowledge, tips, and tricks dropped on you. If you missed a little bit, feel free to use the chapter select to go back to check out certain parts of the video. You can see that also in the description box down below. Again, huge props to CosmicCubicle for taking the time. He is my moderator. He's a member of the Kaiju Club Discord. He does content creation as well. Check out his links in the description box below. Very awesome dude. Guys, thank you for watching. If you haven't, please take the time to check out our other Among Us videos, as well as check out the Kaiju Club Discord. We play a lot of Among Us on the Discord, as well as on my Twitch channel. Links to all that is in the description box below. I stream 4 days a week. We've been mainly doing Among Us on weekends. The game is tons of fun, and I look forward to the new updates that are scheduled to come in the coming months. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you next time.